Hello and welcome to the McNeil Voice Studio Patreon podcast after show. I have a very special guest today, Ronnie Chea, also known as Twisted Optiks, is a Cambodian American artist, music producer, and audio instructor for Texans Can Academies. Ronnie's music is mindful hip hop that speaks of real life experiences from a perspective of compassion. We just had an awesome podcast interview. You all need to go listen to that. But now it's time to get silly. So, my first question for most music people is, what was the last musical thing you listened to on your phone?
So, I have I have SoundCloud kind of where it notifies me if there's anything new that I'd like to listen to. Sometimes it's stuff that I have no idea. So I'm like, hey, why not? I'll just listen to. Um, it's an artist. His name is Corday.
Ooh.
Uh, yeah, Corday, and this is a song featuring Q-Tip, from Tribe Called Quest,
Yeah.
and the song is called More Life. And I was just like, I've heard some of his stuff and I'm not very familiar with it, but I was like, I'll check it out. And, I listened to it, like, wow, and I'm inspired because he's young. He's to me, a young and up and coming artist. But for someone that young to have that much wisdom to just share it on the mic, and he keeps up with the best of them these days with all the new, style artists, I would say. Um, he does it with them, but he can give some very mindful hip hop, and I was like, wow, I like this. So yeah, I was just
Wow. Okay, I was like
bobbing
writing
my
all
head
that
to this.
down. Must put that on
Yeah.
my listening list. Okay, here's question number 2. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Wow. Shoot. I mean, so I I have I like to relax, right? Whenever all said and done, and people would think, Ronnie, don't you work on your own music on your own time? It's like, man, dude, if I do music all day, I don't want to just come home and just keep doing music. So, I like video games, and you know,
Mm.
um, I've always either thought it might be fun to either be like a video game streamer playing video games and
Yeah.
just chatting it up with people, or or even making video games, but I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. But hey, if I had that knowledge,
There you go. Yeah,
yeah.
you never know. I love that. Okay, question number 3. This
Yeah.
one, you might pass on this one. What's your worst roommate or house guest story?
So this is my perspective, right? This will be just my perspective, and I don't name names. But so I had a roommate, and the situation is that the roommate is the landlord's son. So
Ooh.
it's a situation to where I don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't want to step on toes because I'm kind of here as a guest, and 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 I'm doing all the best that I can to make sure that I keep have good upkeep and all that. Um, but roommate, it's very in my face with advice, giving me
Oh.
unsolicited advice, and a lot of times I'm like, okay, cool, thank you, yeah, all right. Anyways, but one advice he gave me that just kind of like hit me on the side of the head, but I was like, nah, he didn't mean that. I don't think so because I like I've been doing hip hop and writing and rap and all that for about a decade already, almost a decade and a half prior to living with said roommate. And he, out of the blue, decided he wanted to give me some advice on my music. Who doesn't do hip hop? So I'm like, okay. And he's like, hey, Ronnie, you know, you should make your rhymes simpler. Like, you're saying too much. You know, it's like, don't you want people to enjoy it? Yeah, you should make your rhymes simple, like make it easy. And I'm like, wait, what are we talking about? Like sing-alongs, or what are we talking about? Like nursery rhymes? Like, what do we need? And he was just giving me this advice, and I was just so taken aback by it that I'm like, no, he's just joking, whatever. Like, yeah, yeah, okay, cool, yeah. And I just carry on. But it stuck with me because I'm like, he really wanted me to do this. And I'm like, what would I sound like if I just said, uh what I consider ABC rhymes, like, just had a nice day. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm like it might hit, it might be hot, but I just couldn't do it, you know. That's not me,
I love
so
that that's your worst story. Is like talking about messing with your rhymes.
that it's it's what I can think of, as far as music related. Like it's almost like if he was my producer, if he was my label, maybe I would consider, but a roommate, I'm like,
Oh
thank
man,
you.
that's too funny. What's okay, here's your fourth question. What's the most awkward thing that happens to you on a regular basis?
Most awkward thing that happened to me on a regular basis. I mean, well, the thing is, okay, so I'm Cambodian, right? And I live in Texas, and it's almost to the point where I'm cool with it, but uh people will speak Spanish to me. And it's like Hispanic folks will speak Spanish to me. Um to the point that I've learned to say no hablo español, or un poquito, just a little. But like I've learned Spanish in those interactions, so much so. But here's the thing: I will not speak it back to them, because if you even give them a little bit of Spanish, the floodgates open and they're gonna give you a paragraph, and you're like, no, 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 no habla. Like, I'm sorry. I speak English. I'm sorry. I'm Asian. What's crazy? I worked as a teenager at Sears, and I sold shoes. Um, and I learned shoe sizes in Spanish. Like ses medio or siete. Like I've learned shoe sizes, so I get it. Well, I had one guy. I believe he was Cuban, and he didn't speak English, and he was mad that I didn't speak Spanish. And I was like, I looked at my coworker, I'm like, how is he mad that I don't speak Spanish? I'm not I'm not Hispanic, but he swore I was Hispanic, and I just let go of my roots. So I was like, I don't know. I can't help you.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been there before. I am Hispanic and I do not speak an inch of Spanish. Well, I speak a
Mm,
tiny bit, but yeah, you're right. You just give a little like, oh, no, hablo inglés, or, just a
yeah.
tiny little. And then it's just like, and I'd be like, oh my
Oh.
gosh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
And I feel so bad. I definitely don't want to say something out of place, so I don't try. I'm like, thank you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
You get that. What tell us a funny story or the scariest performance story. So something regarding performing.
I I don't know. I can't recall a scary one, but I could tell you a silly one.
Mhm.
So I was at one point in the Christian hip hop circuit, as far as like performing and going to, performing at churches and stuff. And, I've learned throughout the years to prepare for anything. Like there's nothing you could throw at me that I can't handle, except this time.
Oh.
So, I'm going and I'm ready. I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm ready. I got my CD, with my instrumentals, so I can get on and perform. It's like, I even have a USB if they don't have a CD player. I'm like, I'm ready for it. Just all let's do this. And I get there, no kidding, their music set was an alarm clock. It was a little
Oh.
alarm clock. That's where the music was coming out of that they wanted me to perform. And I'm like, are you serious? Who does this? And it's funny because I wasn't the only one. And I got there to see the set before me before he got off, and he had this face like he saw a ghost. He's like, they really made me do this. So he was
Oh.
walking off. I'm like, now it's my turn, and I have to. So I'm like, you want me to do? Guess what? I did it. I did it. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I don't even know what this experience is gonna be like. And they had fun. It was all about the
Yeah.
interaction, anyways. The thing that made me mad though
Oh.
is that as soon as I got done, as soon as I finished and they handed me my CD from that alarm clock, I'm stepping off, and in comes a crew that brings speakers,
Oh
microphones,
no.
set, mix board. And I'm like, are y'all serious? That's how we do it? Ugh. Mm,
Oh man, yeah, I would have. I don't know what I would have done. Wow.
Uh, it's I learned to expect the unexpected, I guess. Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna end on a nice place. What is some good advice that was given to you that has always stayed with you?
Um, one of the greatest advices that I received, and I'm not taking away from the person because you can get good advice from some harsh people,
Oh
some
yeah.
people that aren't even actually feeding into your life, but for some reason they can carry some really amazing advice. And I feel like the advice stuck with me more than, the whole character, the aura of the person. But one thing that I got from this person was um, that you have the right to say no. Like, you as an artist, you as a person, you as an individual have a right to say no, and that you do not have to please everyone, and that you before you can do anything for anyone else, you have to first be able to do it for yourself. So it really stuck with me that I have the power to say no. So um because of that, when I went forward, I might not have had everybody like me because honestly they wanted to take advantage of me, and but at the same time it built this great confidence in me that I can be me, and I'm going to be the realest me, the most genuine me that I can be, and I'm not afraid to tell someone no if I have to, because for my sake, for my capacity, for my wellness, there are going to be no's in my life that I've learned to put in front of me, and to not always say yes, because that saved me a ton of stress, anxiety, and just helped me build my confidence when I learned that I could say no.
Yeah. Wow. So remember, folks, you can say no.
Yes. Yes.
And I just want to thank you again, Ronnie, for hanging with me today and all the people on
Thank you.
Patreon. So we will be back next month with a new guest, but thank you so much, Ronnie, and goodbye,
Thank you.
everyone.